Good morning and welcome to Spotlight, brought to you by the Georgetown NAACP branch number 5520. We have a lot to talk about this morning, folks. We're talking about the Georgetown County School District recent meeting, the SCOTUS Supreme Court of the United States rulings over the last 2 weeks making huge impact, and of course, the select committee for the January 6th insurrection. So we're going to be talking about a lot of stuff that is impacting us on the local, state, and federal level. And we're going to be joined by my co-host. Looking forward to folks right after this opening.
Heavenly Father, we ask you to put a hand of protection.
So we're back, folks, and let me bring in my co-host for the morning, Deontay Winchester, first vice president of the Georgetown NAACP. And you know, Deontay, I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Marilyn Hemingway, second vice president of the Georgetown NAACP. We got a lot going on, folks. And first, before we get into it, Deontay, I want to send out our condolences of love and energy of peace and comfort to P. Laura Richards, a dynamic NAACP member. She is funeralizing her beloved father this morning, and we want to send all the love and peace and comfort out to her and her family during this time of mourning. Sending it all to P. Laura. So everyone, thank you for joining us this morning, and we're going to get into the Georgetown County School District. Deontay, I understand. Well, I do know you got a little bit more understanding than me what's going on in the Georgetown County School District. There was a meeting this week. I know there's a huge discussion about raising the wages of custodians, bus drivers, and lunchroom workers to a living wage. That's a huge issue that's going on. So what's going on in the Georgetown County School District?
Yes, ma'am. That's a major topic. And when you talk about the custodians and bus drivers and things of that nature, we're talking about the classified staff there at the school district. The teachers, principals, they are considered. Oh my goodness, what's their? Anyway, we're talking about a living wage for the classified side of the house. And what we are pushing for at this time is a $15 an hour wage. Currently, they did raise it up to $13. And that's some movement. But really and truly, that's not enough. When we look at the statistics for what's required in that area to maintain your household and your family here in Georgetown, I believe it's just over $17 an hour. So why are we just raising wages to a point that still is not making families able to make ends meet without working 2 to 3 jobs after leaving their job there at Georgetown? So imagine you were working hard every day in a cafeteria, sweating, making food for kids, taking care of everybody, and then you have to leave that job and go somewhere else, say work at McDonald's, just so you can pay your rent, pay your mortgage, put food on the table for your kids. It's something that they shouldn't have to be doing. We should be pushing for a livable wage for everyone, including the classified staff there at the district. But that's not the only thing. That district is a mess right now. when we're talking about pay for the classified staff, let's not forget about our teachers. They haven't had a raise in some time now, including their step increase. And that's basically every year that you're at the school, either every 1 year or 2 years, you get a pay increase. They haven't had that pay increase because of financial constraints, I guess, with COVID was the excuse that they gave. But the fact of the matter is, they were in a position with COVID to be to be vulnerable more than many other industries, because they had to work in close proximity with a bunch of kids, many of them not even wearing masks, for the elementary school teachers. And even when it was a requirement, those students would take the mask off anyway. Anyone with little kids knows how difficult it is to keep that mask on a child. So, if anything, we should have been trying to pay them more as opposed to try to keep them at a level that's below what they should be getting. So when we look at that thing, and of course they're going to say, well, where are we going to get the money from? I submit that they get it from the top. They have all of those people up there at the top sitting at the district making six figures doing absolutely nothing, creating jobs for people in the good old boy system that they want to have these jobs, just to sit up there at the district, twiddle their thumbs, take pictures, go to lunch, go to all of these meetings, and do absolutely nothing for the taxpayer using that money. So I submit that there needs to be a shakeup from the top to the bottom, or as they say, drain the swamp.
Speaking of the top, we still have a superintendent with a master's degree, with
Oh, absolutely.
PhDs reporting directly to him.
Oh, yeah,
and I thought that was a promise that that situation would be rectified, and that was a condition of his being hired, that we need to get that PhD.
Bamboozled. They had us under the impression that he was hired above two individuals, African Americans, one female, one male, that were well qualified, had PhDs or EDDs already, and the experience necessary to step into that role effectively immediately. They hired the current superintendent under the guise that he would be finished with his doctorate degree here in the near future. 2 years later, and where is that degree? So,
go ahead, Deontay.
Go ahead, Smith.
That concerns me, and it should concern all of us, because it's not only impactful in Georgetown County, but we now have one of the nominees for the state superintendent education that's not qualified, and somehow is going to get her master's degree in less than 6 months from Bob Jones University. Now I understand why people were blowing up on social media. And I was like, what's going on with Bob Jones University? So I looked into it, and we are excusing incompetency because of people wanting control and also wanting to destroy our public school system. That one of the persons running for superintendent said, I enrolled in April and will be qualified by November with a master's degree to run our school system. And she has publicly stated she's for vouchers. She's for giving money to people to take the money out of the public school systems and put it into a private school. So we know what this is about, folks. And it's to the point that we have teachers who must be certified to teach their subject matters and continually get continuing education and get their certification, renewed over a period of time. Yet you're nominating someone who actually doesn't believe in public school systems and is not on a personal professional level not qualified to be state superintendent. But we're all supposed to look away from the fact that there's a university willing to put their reputation on the line and allow her to get a master's degree in 6 months. It's manipulating the system for the worst problems. And if you start with rotten roots, you're going to produce rotten fruit.
So this is another thing that gets me. Certain populations of individuals there at the district are allowed in the door with high-paying salaries under the promise that I will get qualified one day. But then well-qualified individuals who have all of the necessary prerequisites and experience to serve effectively right then are overlooked under the guise that, they didn't interview well. The one thing that's subjective is the one thing that they use to overlook these individuals who are more qualified than everyone else objectively. So you make that make sense to me.
There's a bigger picture here. And, we said we're going to do 30 minutes, but all of what we're talking about today, Deontay, is connected. So I hope it does eventually make sense to people or start. We have got to get educated, motivated, and activated, folks, because a lot of what makes us a good nation, or the ideal that we have been trying to reach from day one of the creation of this nation, is under attack. And it starts on the local level, and it starts with the education of our children. Who's in charge of that education system of our children? And
School
if
board.
we allow incompetency to rise, you're going to get, once again, incompetent fruit from the incompetent root. And that is true locally in our school districts, city council, county council. It is also true on the federal, state, and federal level, which leads me to our next topic. Deontay, you good with this one? We covered what we need to cover on this one.
I want to touch on one more thing.
Okay, please do.
That came up in the last school board meeting. There has been, as of late, what seems to be the systematic removal of Black principals in Georgetown County School District. And they're now being replaced with white principals. And we're talking about schools that are predominantly Black. And there's also been this thing where there's if a teacher is upset, there will be a climate survey done at these individual schools that are run by the Black principals. And that's used to undermine them and to come up with a reason that they can remove them. But then you look at it, and all of these schools that are failing and the teachers are leaving in high numbers. Half of your staff is leaving, but there's no climate survey at that school that's led by a white principal. So more on that later. But those who can and will, please come to these school meetings, because we are under attack. Our children are under attack. We need equal representation at the top that will show these children that they are just as important as anyone else, and they can be anything that they put their minds to.
Thank you, Deontay. That's so true. And y'all get out to these school board meetings. We know we can't make all of them. I don't make all of them. But if you can't make it, send somebody. We've got to be very strategic about this, folks. If you can't make it, send somebody who can bring the news back. This is one of the reasons we have Spotlight. If you can't make it, we're going to at least update you and give you the information to start the path to knowledge, all right, and get those questions answered, and then come on out or encourage somebody else to come on. Y'all, we are in, these times are dangerous times. I just got off a phone call. Yes, it is, Sharon. It's alarming and a big red flag. It's scary. We are in dangerous times, not only in the school district, but also in the Supreme Court. And that's what we're getting ready to talk about now. Yes, it is a good talking point. Thank you very much. All right. So we're going to talk. Let me bring that up. I have a list, y'all. And it's sad that I have a list, but I got this list about the SCOTUS rulings in the last 2 weeks. And we're just going to go through those and talk about those, because this is another reason why you need to be involved and why we all need to vote every single election. SCOTUS rulings. And if we forget one, y'all bring it up, drop it in the comments. But in the last 2 weeks, this SCOTUS ended their 2022 session with ending Roe versus Wade by sending it back to the states. And people have to realize that this was decided through a case that was not even supposed to end Roe versus Wade. It was supposed to be a very narrow decision, but the extreme justices on the Supreme Court made a decision that we're going to use this to get rid of Roe versus Wade, and along the premise of we're sending it back to the states because this is a state decision. If you really dig deeper, if it's the state decision, let's go to the level. It's an individual decision, which means it's a case of privacy. Stay out of people's business. If you don't want an abortion, don't have one. But you should not use your religion to prevent other people. And that's what's going on here. Ending Miranda rights. Y'all, they made a decision, and a lot of this stuff happened under the radar because of what was going. People were so upset about the Roe versus Wade decision. They're also looking at this insurrection, the hearing regarding the insurrection, and it's the end of the Supreme Court session, so they're releasing all of these decisions, and some of these things really kind of skip past people. They made a decision that ending Miranda rights, that law enforcement doesn't have to read Miranda rights to you to let you know the rights that you have if you are suspicious of being arrested or suspicious of a crime. Y'all, that is fundamental to the Fourth Amendment of our Constitution. Allowing no-knock warrants within 100-mile radius from all borders. And y'all, coastline are borders, okay? So this covers the entire United States of America. It's not just the Canadian border. It's not just the southern border, mostly Mexico. It is all borders. And you have to understand what does this mean. That if law enforcement suspects you of harboring a fugitive or immigrant who is not here legally, that they don't have to go get a warrant. They can come to your house and come into your house and arrest you. And proof of how dangerous this is, just remember Breonna Taylor. Just remember Breonna Taylor. You could be sleeping in the safety, what you think is the safety of your home, and they can burst in on the premise of, we suspect that you may be hosting a fugitive in here or an immigrant who entered this country legally, and we're coming to get them. And in the crossfire, a lot's going to happen. We are losing our rights, folks, right in front of us. And then severely, this came out yesterday, severely to hamper the authority of the EPA to regulate fossil fuel industry. Y'all, we are in the midst of climate change. It is here. You just need to look at what's going on in Yellowstone with the flooding last week. They had to shut down Yellowstone. It's wiped out roads. It's killing animals. It's because the snow dumped and it immediately melted and it created flooding. Something that should take like 2 months happened in a matter of a week. The fires that we've been having in the West Coast in California, the Colorado River is drying up. The increased power of hurricanes. This year, we're supposed to have at least 4 powerful hurricanes. Last year we were lucky; we didn't have any hurricanes. But y'all, this is, it's just a matter of time. Before that, we had like 3 years of powerful hurricanes. They may not come more frequently, but they're more powerful because of climate change. This ruling by the SCOTUS regarding the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, not only hampers the ability of the EPA to regulate fossil fuel industries, which are the main creators of climate change, it is also hampering the authority of all federal agencies. This is broad, folks. This is broad. So basically, they're saying these agencies will have to go to Congress to do their daily work. So if Congress does not explicitly say this is what you're doing, they can't do it. And literally rewriting law. They're rewriting law, folks. We are in dangerous times in this country. And this is all has a thread running through it, that the same people who are putting in incompetent, unqualified people in these positions in our school districts and locally are the same people putting incompetent, unqualified people on the Supreme Court. And one is Amy Coney Barrett, who even named the entire First Amendment when she was asked in her qualifying hearing, and also Kavanaugh and Neil Gorsuch, those who point blank lied when they said they were not going to touch Roe versus Wade. It's my personal opinion. If you lie at the root of it, you're going to lie all the way through, folks. So lie creates evil and immorality. And these people are talking about their moral. They're taking the high ground. We are rapidly seeing happening in front of us a creation of a theocracy in America. We are not a government founded on the Bible. We are but a government founded on freedom of religion. All religions, that your right to worship and to practice the religion that you want to. That is what we're founded on, not founded on Judeo-Christian rights. We are not a Christian nation. We are not a Christian government. We are a government that respects all religions. We are a government that respects your right to worship the way you want to. And I'm hot, folks. I'm hot about what's going on because people really need to understand what's going on. Deonta, any thoughts?
No, we have to move on, but really quickly, there must be a separation between church and state. And these individuals knew.
We're going to wait for Deonta to get back. I know we're going to have to move on. And he gets back. I know he's there. Lost his audio and video. But if y'all have any comments and questions, please drop them in the comments and questions section. There you go, Deonta. You're back. I don't know what happened. But go ahead and wrap it up.
I'm using my phone today. I apologize. I got a call. But these individuals, if they felt that they were doing what was right and that they were doing the work of the people, they would not have run right before the midnight hour, before Judge Brown could be sworn in, and the courts were more balanced. They knew that they were doing something that was controversial and that probably wouldn't pass, so they hurried up and they rushed it through. That should be alarming to some people.
That's right. Agree. I want to put up Amy Coney Barrett as you're talking, because she's a prime example of being unqualified for the Supreme Court and comes out of a cult. But we got these people that they're putting them up there. But we want, before we wrap this up, Deonta, I want to put up Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, who was sworn in this Friday, who is more qualified, probably the most qualified Supreme Court justice in our history. Right there. Here's her picture right there. And I just, a number of pictures. I was trying to get up the one picture, but my computer was acting up too. But there she is. She was sworn in this Friday, yesterday. So we want to applaud her, and I'm excited about her. Unfortunately, it's not going to change the makeup of the court, which is why we need to vote, so we can keep people in office who will appoint more qualified Supreme Court justices and hopefully do right by all the people, by most of the people. You're never going to do right by all of the people, but we certainly want them to do right by most of the people, because the majority of the people do not want to see Roe versus Wade end. The majority of people do not want no-knock warrants, and they're being ignored. They're being ignored by a minority. And what was our final subject that we're going to talk about today, so we can wrap this up, Deonta?
I don't know. I think it's time to go.
But there's one more. We're gonna do it quickly. We both had our talking, but this. Oh my gosh, Deonta, we have lost our minds. He said SCOTUS, the school. Insurrection. Go ahead, Insurrection.
How do you forget about that one?
I know.
Man, this thing is.
I'm hot about this. I'm hot about this. What's going on. Hey, LaTanya, thank you. Yes, I'm glad you think they're good talking points. Y'all get educated, motivated, and activated. We have got to vote. This is not kidding. And I'm getting into the insurrection by saying this. Y'all, democracy is under fire. It seriously is. And the insurrection is just one more piece in the jigsaw puzzle of a group of people who are afraid of the Black and browning of America. It's not only that, they want a theocracy. They want an apartheid government. They want a government run by the minority that protects the minority and then controls the majority. And y'all, that minority is mostly white male, rich folks. Okay? Rich males. Even poor whites are in trouble, y'all. And the middle class is being decimated. Okay? So People who think they middle class, you ain't middle class. You know, people, inflation and every corporations are price gouging, creating inflation, and people are living on credit cards. If
Yeah.
you have own a home, if you pay mortgage on a home, you don't own it, the bank owns it. Miss 3 payments and see what happens. The bank will come and get their property. Miss 3 payments on your car and see what happens. They will come and get your car. All right. So if you're living in a great amount of debt, y'all not middle class. Pay off your houses as fast as you can. Pay off your houses, your cars. And I say that because this is all tied in to the 2 subjects we've already talked about. And it's also tied in with the insurrection. Because these people do not mean us well. They mean harm. And they showed it at the insurrection. They show it by suppressing our votes. This insurrection is bigger than Donald Trump. That's what we got folks' heads, Deontay. This is when you remove Donald Trump, that's just Donald Trump is who he is. He's a grifter. He's a liar. He's a grifter. He's a snake oil salesman. When it's all said and done, that's who Donald Trump is. This is bigger than Donald Trump. This is a movement that's been coming 50 years for them to control us. And it's based on greed and power. Don't get it twisted, folks. They use God to create greed and power. Deontay, go ahead, because you know I'm hot. I can take. Go ahead, and we said we limited this. We got 3 minutes, so you wrap it up.
It's always God used to control a people that are likely the majority, but do not understand the power that they wield. This goes all the way back to the days of slavery. We were given religion and told that the white God was pleased with us serving the white master. So religion has always been used to control us. We just need to understand that even if you subscribe to religious doctrine, which I'm sure all of us do, we just have to get to a point where we understand that religion does not have to run our lives, and it certainly does not need to run our country and its business. I'll leave it right there.
Very good. Thank you, Deontay. That's why I had you end it. Y'all, it's always been good to talk to you. Yeah, we came in. This is our show. We're going to move forward. We've discussed this. We want to keep it tight. We want to keep you updated, give our opinion, keep you updated, give you what's coming up. Y'all, please stay educated. Please stay motivated. Please stay activated. Get out, not only in Georgetown, but every school district. Get out to your meetings, your city, county council meetings. Pay attention what's going on the state level. Get engaged. Call your elected officials and ask them questions. Hold them accountable. And on the federal level, please, folks, get out and vote. Pay attention to what's going on. Vote. Get engaged beyond voting and get informed and educated. Get knowledge, because knowledge is power. That's why they're attacking our schools. They don't want you to know. But once you know, once you see it, you cannot unsee it, folks. Get educated, motivated, and activated. That's why we're out here every Saturday at 11 a.m. The Georgetown NAACP bringing you Spotlight every 11 a.m. on Saturday. Every Saturday at 11 a.m. Deontay, anything else as we wrap it up?
Vote, 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 vote. Every time you can, vote locally and federally. Because listen, if our vote did not matter, there would not be such a systematic effort to remove your right to vote. That should tell you right there how powerful you are. I love you all. Continue to love yourselves until next time. Take care.
Take care. Thank you, Deontay, for joining me today. We'll see you next time. Everybody, we'll see you next Saturday at 11 a.m. Have a great weekend and enjoy your 3-day weekend. Thank you. Bye.